This is part 2 of solving two-step equations. We've already gone over examples A and B, and now let's move on to example C. Example C is 10 minus 2/3 x equals 52. So here again, what's being done to the variable? X is being multiplied by negative 2/3, because remember we said before the sign's always on the left. So again, the first thing being done is x is multiplied by negative 2/3. Then it's adding 10. Now there's no plus sign here, but we know it's a positive. So anytime you see a value there, you know that this is a positive 10. Therefore, the inverse is negative 10. And remember, negative and minus are really the same. So we're going to subtract 10 from both sides. Okay, so from the beginning, one more time, x is being multiplied by negative 2/3, and then it's adding 10. Since the last thing is adding 10, work backwards from there. The inverse is to subtract 10. Subtract 10 on both sides. What remains on the left? Negative 2/3 x, and on the right, working down, 52 minus 10 is 42. So we're again applying, if there is a fraction coefficient, we're going to multiply each side by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of negative 2/3 is negative 3/2. Now, the negative still stays, we just flip the fraction. On the left, a negative times a negative is positive, and I have the same value in the numerator and denominator, same value numerator and denominator, so therefore everything cancels out to just x. On the right, you can see some of the markings, so let's go ahead and start from the beginning. Instead of multiplying straight across, which we did in example B, I'm going to simplify first. 2 is a common factor. 2 goes into 2 one time, and 2 goes into 42 21 times. Now, I can multiply straight across with smaller numbers, making it easier. A positive times a negative is a negative. So 21 times 3 is 63, but because it is negative, it's actually negative 63. 21 times negative 3 is negative 63. So our solution is x equals negative 63. Now this was, given the hint from above, most of the time you're going to undo the adding and subtracting first, and as you could see from these 3 examples. I'm going to show you when you would undo dividing first. Let's look at one more example. That's example D. X minus 4 divided by 5 equals 12. Now you could probably hear me say it. The very last thing I said on the left side was divide by 5. So again, x minus 4 divide by 5. Since the last thing on the left is to divide by 5, or not just on the left, but because the last thing being done to the variable is divide by 5, I'm going to work inverse from there and multiply both sides by 5. Remember, I multiply by 5/1 because I want a value in the numerator and denominator to cancel. All that remains on the left is x minus 4, and on the right, 12 minus 5 is 60. So we have here x minus 4. The inverse of minus 4 is to add 4, both sides, and working down again, all that remains on the left is x, and 60 plus 4 is 64. X equals 64. Remember that the sign is always on the left.